It's this way, right? Wrong way. Thank you.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Inshallah, brothers and sisters, we'll begin this beautiful evening, this beautiful opportunity where we have gathered over here for this Majlis Azza with the recitation of Surah Al-Yasin, followed by the recitation of Dua Kumail. Just a quick announcement that inshallah, the kids class, there's a children's class today, alhamdulillah, that'll take place in the library, and inshallah it'll start right after Surah Al-Yasin. So especially for my younger sisters as well and younger brothers who are from the age of 7 to 12, they can benefit from this class inshallah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون وسواء عليهم أنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين وضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاءها المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب أليم قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون. وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين اتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم محتدون. وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون. أأتخذ من دونه آلهة يردني الرحمن بضر يغن عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون. إني ظن في ضلال مبين. إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون. قيل ادخل الجنة قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين. وما أنزلنا على قومه من بعده من جود من السماء وما كنا منزلين. إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم خامدون. يا حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون. ألم يروا كم أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون. وإن كل لما جميع لدينا محضرون. وآية لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها حبا فمنه يأكلون. وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وأعناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملته أيديهم أفلا يشكرون. سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون. وآية لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون. والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم. والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالعرجون القديم. لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون. وآية لهم أنا حملنا ذريتهم في الفلك المشحون وخلقنا لهم من مثله ما يركبون. وإن نشأ نغرقهم فلا صريخ لهم ولهم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين. وإذا قيل لهم اتقوا ما بين أيديكم وما خلفكم لعلكم ترحمون. وما تأتيهم من آية من آيات ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين. وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا أنطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
صل على محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين. ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون. ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينسلون. قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون. إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون. فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون. إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولا هم يدعون. سلام قولا من رب رحيم. وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم ألا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين. وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم. ولقد أضل منكم جبلا كثيرا أفلم تكونوا تعقلون. هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون. اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون. ولو نشاء لطمسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون. ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكانتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون. ومن نعمره ننكسه في الخلق أفلا يعقلون. وما علمناه الشعر وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين. لينذر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين. أولم يروا أنا خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون. وذللناها لهم فمنها ركوبهم ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب أفلا يشكرون. واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينصرون. لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محضرون. فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون. أولم يرى الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين. وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشاها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم. الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون صدق الله العلي العظيم.
اللهم صل على محمد.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Brothers and sisters, just a quick announcement inshallah before the recitation of Dua Kumail. The class for the children from age 7 to 12 will now start in the library. So I'd like to strongly encourage my younger brothers and sisters to benefit from this class. The topic of this class is on Quranic appreciation, focusing on Surah Al-Yasin. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. اللهم إني أسألك برحمتك التي وسعت كل شيء وبقوتك التي قهرت بها كل شيء وخضع لها كل شيء وظل لها كل شيء وبجبروتك التي غلبت بها كل شيء وبعزتك التي لا يقوم لها شيء وبعظمتك التي ملأت كل شيء وبسلطانك الذي على كل شيء وبوجهك الباقي بعد فناء كل شيء وبأسمائك التي ملأت أركان كل شيء وبعلمك الذي أحاط بكل شيء وبنور وجهك الذي أضاء له كل شيء يا نور يا قدوس يا نور يا نور يا قدوس يا أول الأولين ويا آخر الآخرين. Brothers and sisters, this is a stage where one testifies to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that indeed, O Allah, your mercy is wide. O Allah, indeed your force is wide, your ilm, your knowledge is wide that encompasses all the things. Indeed your light of your face through which all the things are illuminated, that all these things that the one testifies, and after this, after testifying to all of those things, that O first of those who are first and O last of those who are last, then the person comes and confesses to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala of his sins and seeks his forgiveness. اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تهتك العصام. اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تنزل النقام.
اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تغير النعم. اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تحبس الدعاء. اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تقطع الرجاء. اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تنزل البلاء. اللهم اغفر لي كل ذنب أذنبته وكل خطيئة أخطأتها. اللهم إني أتقرب إليك بذكرك واستشفع بك إلى نفسك وأسألك بجودك أن تدنيني من قربك وأن توزعني شكرك وأن تلهمني ذكرك. اللهم إني أسألك السؤال خاضع متذلل خاشع أن تسامحني وترحمني وتجعلني بقسمك راضيا قانعا وفي جميع الأحوال متواضعا. اللهم وأسألك السؤال من اشتدت فاقته وأنزل بك عند الشدائد حاجته وعظم فيما عندك رغبته. اللهم عظم سلطانك وعلى مكانك وخفي مكرك وظهر أمرك وغلب قهرك وجرت قدرتك ولا يمكن الفرار من حكومتك. اللهم لا أجد لذنوبي غافرا ولا لقبائه ساترا ولا لقبائحي ساترا ولا لشيء من عملي القبيح بالحسن مبدلا غيرك. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك وبحمدك ظلمت نفسي ظلمت نفسي وتجرأت بجهلي وسكنت إلى قديم ذكرك لي ومنك علي. اللهم مولاي كم من قبيح سترته وكم من فادح من البلاء يقلته وكم من عثار وقيته وكم من مكروه نفعته وكم من ثناء جميل لست أهلا له نشرته. اللهم عظم بلائي وأفرط بي سوء حالي وقصرت بي أعمالي وقعدت بي أغلالي وحبسني عن نفعي بعد أملي وخدعتني الدنيا بغرورها ونفسي بخيانتها ومطالي. يا سيدي فأسألك بعزتك ألا يحجب عنك دعائي سوء عملي وفعالي ولا تفضحني بخفي ما اطلعت عليه من سري ولا تعاجلني بالعقوبة على ما عملته في خلواتي من سوء فعلي وإساءتي ودوام تفريطي وجهالتي وكثرة شهواتي وغفلتي. وكن اللهم بعزتك لي في كل الأحوال رؤوفا وعلي في جميع الأمور عطوفا. إلهي وربي من لي غيرك أسأله كشف ضري والنظر في أمري. Brothers and sisters, this is the stage where after one has confessed for all the sins and all the adverse effects of the sins, but then the prayer that one calls upon to Allah, that, "O Allah, despite all these sins, and we seek forgiveness for all these sins, be kind to us in all the states that we exist, and be gracious to us in all the affairs, in all our affairs. Why? Because who have I anyone that the person calls, have I any but you from who to ask removal of my affliction and regard for my affairs? That if it is not you, then who do I seek forgiveness from? Who do I seek the removal of affliction of my troubles and the solution of my affairs? إلهي وربي من لي غيرك أسأله كشف ضري والنظر في أمري. إلهي ومولاي أجريت علي حكما اتبعت فيه هوى نفسي ولم أحترس فيه من تزيين عدوي فغرني بما أهوى وأسعده على ذلك القضاء فتجاوزت بما جرى علي من ذلك بعد حدودك وخالفت بعض أوامرك فلك الحجة علي في جميع ذلك ولا حجة لي فيما جرى علي فيه قضاءك وألزمني حكمك وبلاؤك وقد أتيتك يا إلهي بعد تقصيري وإسرافي على نفسي معتذرا نادما منكسرا مستقيلا مستغفرا منيبا مقرا مذعنا معترفا لا أجد مفرا من مكان مني ولا مفزعا أتوجه إليه في أمري غير قبولك عذري وإدخالك إياي في سعة من رحمتك. اللهم فاقبل عذري وارحم شدة ضري وفكني من شدي وثاقي. يا رب ارحم ضعف بدني ورقة جلدي ودقة عظمي. يا من بدا خلقي وذكري وتربيتي وبري وتغذيتي هبني لابتداء كرمك والسالف برك بي. يا إلهي وسيدي وربي أتراك معذبي بنارك بعد توحيدك وبعد من طوى عليه قلبي من معرفتك ولهج به لساني من ذكرك واعتقده ضميري من حبك وبعد صدق اعترافي ودعائي خاضعا لربوبيتك. هيهات هيهات أنت أكرم من أن تضيع من ربيته أو تبعد من أدنيته أو تشرد من آويته أو تسلم إلى البلاء من كفيته ورحمته. وليت شعري يا سيدي وإلهي ومولاي أتسلط النار على وجوه خرت لعظمتك ساجدا وعلى ألسن نطقت بتوحيدك صادقا وبشكرك مادحا وعلى قلوب اعترفت بإلهيتك محققا وعلى ضمائر حوات من العلم بك حتى صارت خاشعة وعلى جوارح سعت إلى أوطان تعبدك طائعة وأشارت باستغفارك مذعنا. ما هكذا الظن بك ولا أخبرنا بفضلك عنك يا كريم يا رب. وأنت تعلم ضعفي عن قليل من بلاء الدنيا وعقوباتها وما يجري فيها من المكاره على أهلها على أن ذلك بلاء ومكروه قليل مكتوه يسير بقاؤه قصير مدته، فكيف احتمالي لبلاء الآخرة وجليل وقوع المكاره فيها، وهو بلاء تطول مدته ويدوم مقامه ولا يخفف عن أهله، لأنه لا يكون إلا عن غضبك وانتقامك وسخطك، وهذا ما لا تقوم له السماوات والأرض. يا سيدي فكيف لي وأنا عبدك ضعيف الضليل الحقير المسكين المستكين. يا إلهي وربي وسيدي ومولاي، لأي الأمور إليك أشكو ولما منها ضج ويبكي، لأليم العذاب وشدته أم لطول البلاء ومدته؟ فلئن صيرتني للعقوبات مع أعدائك وجمعت بيني وبين أهل بلائك وفرقت بيني وبين أحبائك وأوليائك، فهبني يا إلهي وسيدي ومولاي وربي. صبرت على عذابك فكيف أصبر على فراقك؟ وهبني يا إلهي صبرت على حر نارك فكيف أصبر عن النظر إلى كرامتك؟ أم كيف أسكن في النار ورجاء عفوك؟ فبعزتك يا سيدي ومولاي أقسم صادقة، لئن تركتني ناطقة لأضجن إليك بين أهلها ضجيج الآمنين، ولا أصرخن إليك صراخ المستصرخين، ولا أبكين عليك بكاء الفاقدين، ولا أنادينك أين كنت يا ولي المؤمنين؟ يا غاية آمال العارفين، يا غياث المستغيثين، يا غياث المستغيثين، يا غياث يا حبيب قلوب الصادقين، ويا إله العالمين، أفتراك سبحانك يا إلهي وبحمدك تسمع فيها صوت عبد مسلم سجن فيها بمخالفته وذاق طعم عذابها بمعصيته وحبس بين أطباقها بجرمه وجريرته، وهو يضج إليك ضجيج مؤمل لرحمتك ويناديك بلسان أهل توحيدك ويتوسل إليك بربوبيتك يا مولاي. فكيف يبقى في العذاب وهو يرجو ما سلف من حلمك؟ أم كيف تؤلمه النار وهو يأمل فضلك ورحمتك؟ أم كيف يهرقه لهيبها وأنت تسمع صوته وترى مكانه؟ أم كيف يشتمل عليه زفيرها وأنت تعلم ضعفه؟ أم كيف يتقلقل بين أطباقها وأنت تعلم صدقه؟ أم كيف تزجره زبانيتها وهو يناديك يا رباه؟ أم كيف يرجو فضلك في عتقه منها فتتركه فيها؟ هيهات هيهات ما ذلك الظن بك ولا المعروف من فضلك ولا مشبه لما عاملت به الموحدين من برك وإحسانك. فباليقين أقطع لولا ما حكمت به من تعذيب جاحديك وقضيت به من إخلاد معانديك لجعلت النار كلها بردا وسلاما وما كان لأحد فيها مقرا ولا مقاما لكنك تقدست أسماؤك أقسمت أن تملأها من الكافرين من الجنة والناس أجمعين وأن تخلد فيها المعاندين وأن تجل ثناؤك قلت مبتدئا وتطولت بالإنعام متكرما أفمن كان مؤمنا كمن كان فاسقا لا يستوون إلهي وسيدي فأسألك بالقدرة التي قدرتها وبالقضية التي حتمتها وحكمتها وغلبت من عليه أجريتها أن تهب لي في هذه الليلة وفي هذه الساعة كل جرم أجرمته وكل ذنب أذنبته وكل قبيح أسررته وكل جهل عملته كتمته أو أعلنته أخفيته أو أظهرته وكل سيئة أمرت بإثباتها الكرام الكاتبين الذين وكلتهم بحفظ ما يكون مني وجعلتهم شهودا علي مع جوارحي وكنت أنت الرقيب علي من ورائهم والشاهد لما خفي عنهم وبرحمتك أخفيته وبفضلك سترته وأن توفر حظي من كل خير أنزلته أو إحسان فضلته أو بر نشرته أو رزق بسطته أو ذنب تغفره أو خطأ تستره يا ربي يا ربي يا رب يا ربي جميعا رب يا ربي يا ربي يا رب يا إلهي وسيدي ومولاي ومالك رقي يا من بيده ناصيتي يا عليما بضري ومسكنتي يا خبيرا بفقري وفاقتي يا ربي يا ربي يا رب يا ربي يا ربي يا رب يا ربي يا ربي رب أسألك بحقك وقدسك وعظم صفاتك وأسمائك أن تجعل أوقاتي من الليل والنهار بذكرك معمورة وبخدمتك موصولة وأعمالي عندك مقبولة حتى تكون أعمالي وأورادي كلها وردا واحدا وحالي في خدمتك سرمدا يا سيدي يا من عليه معولي يا من إليه شكوت أحوالي يا ربي يا ربي يا رب يا ربي يا ربي يا رب يا ربي يا ربي يا رب قوي على خدمتك جوارحي واشدد على العزيمة جوانحي وهب لي الجد في خشيتك والدوام في الاتصال بخدمتك حتى أصلح إليك في ميادين السابقين وأسرع إليك في المبادرين وأشتاق إلى قربك في المشتاقين وأدنو منك دنو المخلصين وأخافك مخافة الموقنين وأجتمع في جوارك مع المؤمنين. اللهم ومن أرادني بسوء فارده ومن كادني فكده واجعلني من أحسن عبيدك نصيبا عندك وأقربهم منزلة منك وأخصهم ظلفة لديك فإنه لا ينال ذلك إلا بفضلك وجد لي بجودك وعطف علي بمجدك واحفظني برحمتك واجعل لساني بذكرك لهجا وقلبي بحبك متيما ومن علي بحسن إجابتك وأقلني عثرتي واغفر ذلتي فإنك قضيت على عبادك بعبادتك وأمرتهم بدعائك وضمنت لهم الإجابة فإليك يا ربي نصبت وجهي وإليك يا ربي مددت فبعزتك استجب لي دعائي وبلغني مناي ولا تقطع من فضلك رجائي واكفني شر الجن والإنس من عدائي يا سريع الرضا يا سريع الرضا يا سريع الرضا اغفر لمن لا يملك إلا الدعاء فإنك فعال لما تشاء يا من اسمه دواء وذكره شفاء وطاعته غنى ارحم من راس ماله الرجاء وسلاحه البكاء يا سابغ النعم يا دافع النقام يا نور المستوحشين في الظلام يا عالما لا يعلم صل على محمد وآل محمد وافعل بما أنت أهله وصلى الله على رسوله والأئمة الميامين من آله وسلم تسليما كثيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل الفاتحة. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, dear brothers and sisters. أعظم الله وجورنا وجوركم من مصاب نبي عبد الله الحسين وجعلنا وإياكم من الطالبين بثأره مع وليه الإمام المهدي من آل محمد عليه أفضل الصلاة والسلام. اللهم صل على. Brothers and sisters, the Almighty Allah, through His grace, has yet given this beautiful opportunity where we gather over here to commemorate another Majlis Aza. And today we gather over here to commemorate the Shahada of Sayyid al-Sajjadeen, Imam Zayn al-Abideen, Ali ibn al-Husayn alayhi afdal as-salatu was-salam. And indeed, when one hears this name of this lofty personality,
that his mind goes back to the event of Karbala and what had transpired, what this son had transpired, what this son had witnessed on the plains of Karbala, all the tragic events that occurred in front of him, and yet due to the maslahat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he was not able to fight in the way that others had offered their sacrifice in the way of Allah. Indeed, his jihad was indeed a great jihad, that he witnessed all those tragic events, and that what followed those tragic events that we see on the plains of Karbala or throughout the journey of the Haram. Just a few poetic verses, as a speaker has beautifully had mentioned, that the event of Sham-e-Ghariba was one where Lady Zainab alayha salam, where the tents were burning, and Lady Zainab alayha salam had brought the tafsir or the tashrih of Kawthar from the burning tents of Sayyid al-Shuhada. O Karbala, O Sham-e-Ghariba, O Tiragi, O Zainab Hazin, O Hifazat Khayam ki, آیا وہ ایک سوار قریب خیام شاہ، بیٹی علی کی غیظ میں سوئے فرس بڑھی، الٹی نقاب چہرے سے اپنے سوار نے، پیش نگاہ زینب مظلومت علی، ہر چند صابرہ تھی بہت بنت فاطمہ، بے ساختہ زباں پہ یہ فریاد آ گئی۔ زینب نے کہا باپ کے قدموں سے لپٹ کر اب آئے ہو بابا۔ زینب نے کہا باپ کے قدموں سے لپٹ کر اب آئے ہو بابا۔ جب لٹ گیا پردیس میں اماں کا بھرا گھر، ہائے جب لٹ گیا پردیس میں اماں کا بھرا گھر، اب آئے ہو بابا۔ زینب نے کہا باپ کے قدموں سے لپٹ کر اب آئے ہو بابا۔ بابا اگر نہیں تھا خالق کی رضا سے اس وقت نہ آئے جب خاک پہ دم توڑ رہا تھا میرا اکبر، ہائے جب خاک پہ دم توڑ رہا تھا میرا اکبر، اب آئے ہو بابا۔ زینب نے کہا باپ کے قدموں سے لپٹ کر اب آئے ہو بابا۔
کٹ کٹ کے گرے نہر پہ جا بازوئے عباس کوئی نہ تھا پاس اس وقت صدا آپ کو دیتا تھا دلاور ہائے اس وقت صدا آپ کو دیتا تھا دلاور اب آئے ہو بابا زینب نے کہا باپ کے قدموں سے لپٹ کر اب آئے ہو بابا جب فرش زمین بام و فلک لرزا فضا تھے اس وقت کہاں تھے جب باپ کے چلو میں تھا خون علی اصغر ہاں جب باپ کے چلو میں تھا خون علی اصغر اب آئے ہو بابا جب بھائی کا سر کٹتا تھا میں دیکھ رہی تھی حضرت کو صدا دی سر کھولے ہوئے روتی تھی میں خیمے کے در پر اب آئے ہو بابا جب لوگ بچا لے گئے لاش شہداء کے حق اپنا جتا کے بس ایک تن شبیر تا پامال کی زد پر اب آئے ہو بابا زینب نے کہا باپ کے قدموں سے لپٹ کر اب آئے ہو بابا
ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Brothers and sisters, inshallah, in order to address this Majlis al-Shahadat of the fourth Imam, now I would like to request our guest speaker who has come here from London, Sayyid Ali Kazmi, to address this Majlis al-Azza. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma
salli ala Muhammad.
That's fine, thank you. So for the benefit of the thawab, to give the benefit of the thawab to all the marhumin, for all those who are present, please recite Surah Al-Mubarakah Al-Fatiha. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والخاتم المرسلين سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع نفوسنا أبو القاسم محمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى يوم الدين أما بعد قال الله تعالى في كتابه الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا بني اذهبوا فتحسسوا من يوسف وأخيه ولا تيأسوا من روح الله إنه لا ييأس من روح الله إلى القوم الكافرون صدق الله العلي العظيم. Respected sisters and brothers in Iman, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First of all, I'd like to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us this opportunity to gather, to commemorate this great personality, to learn inshallah a few things before I teach you or before I address anything to you, learn myself as well inshallah. I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this opportunity. This personality, as Sayyid Taha had mentioned earlier before his marthia, is a personality where he had the justice, the jihad that this brother, this Imam alayhi salam had gone through far supersedes many of the jihad, the tranquilities or self-sacrifices that we go through in our lives, in our day-to-day lives. This Imam alayhi salam had witnessed a lot in his life. Prior to the years of Karbala, he was approximately 22 years old on the plains of Karbala on the 61st after Hijrah. The Imam had the opportunity to witness the sacrifice and the jihad, the war, the minor jihad of the 18 or so of his companions or of his family members, as well as other companions and friends who were the sinceres of his father and his grandfather alayhim afdal salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Further on, as many of us alhamdulillah are aware, and we're reminded year over year about the journey that took place from Karbala to Kufa to Sham, back to Karbala on the day of Arba'in, which coincided with the 20th of Safar, and then move forward back to Medina. The Imam alayhi salam was born on 5th of Sha'ban. We know one of the ways we remember his walada is the fact that the three people who were present on the day of Karbala were all, with Allah being the best of the planners, their birthday coincides with one another by being in consecutive form of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th of Sha'ban. So we know Abu Fadl al-Abbas alayhi salam, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, Imam al-Sajjad alayhi salam were all back to back in the order as stated from the 3rd to the 5th of Sha'ban. He was born in the 38th after Hijrah in the city of Mecca, and he was martyred, which coincides with tonight, the 25th of Muharram, in the year 95 after Hijrah. He was approximately 56 to 57 years old. As I mentioned earlier, in Karbala, he was about 22 years old. He had a son, Bakr alayhi salam, who was already born. He was one of the children who was dragged from the plains of Karbala to Kufa, to Sham, to the Zindan, the prison of Sham, and then back to Karbala and back to Medina with his father. The topic today, inshallah, that I'd like to address is a topic which is very important to us as we do commemorate these majalis. It's a topic which gives us, I would call it a spiritual refresher. These months of Azah, whether we commemorate them to the 40th, or whether we commemorate them up to the 8th of Rabiul Awwal, ending with Eid al-Zahra on the 9th. These are days where we do a spiritual revivement, where we relive some of the things, the incidents, whether through marthia, whether through lectures, whether through Noha after the majalis, through many patterns, through many mediums. However, sometimes, we're listening to so many things and so much information, we have a tendency of when we have too much information intake, to apply that we need a little bit of time as well. Inshallah, today I'd like to take this opportunity to discuss a very important topic, which is in regards to despair and false hope. Despair in Arabic is known as ya'as. Ya'as or kunut with the ta. So when you do the ta is the one where we raise our hands in hope to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you switch the last letter from ta to ta, it's the opposite meaning, which means despair, where now you don't have any faith or any hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The next thing that I want to discuss along with despair is false hope, which is the other extreme. Inshallah, I'll spend most of my time today discussing despair and then touch a little bit on false hope with your salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. We've been told as scholars, for example, Ayatul al-Saghib Shirazi and Gunahan Kabira, the greatest sins, which is translated in English as well, alhamdulillah, that despair or losing hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is second to the largest sins after shirk. We know that shirk is one of those unforgivable sins where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it quite clear that He will forgive any sin that you commit in your life except when you partner someone with Him. Despair, on the other hand, comes just next in line. Now the question comes as to why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when we know that there is so many sins that we can name, we could sit all night with discussing the types of sins we can commit, whether they're sins against a person, whether they're sins against my own soul, with my own self, whether they're sins against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His disobedience. I mean, at the end of the day, this is all in the form of disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But there are very different types of sins that we can commit. The question comes as to why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give despair or ya'as such a high level of a sin where He has considered you as almost being cut off from His mercy. You know, in our day-to-day lives, some of our brothers who go to schools here, and for those who have gone to school, there are a lot of challenges we face. We groom ourselves for the work life. We go through certain levels of number of years to university. For some of us, we go to grad school, and then we get into some sort of a professional school. We groom ourselves to make ourselves successful when we get to the work life. We prepare ourselves. Sometimes it takes us 4 years to get there. Sometimes it takes us 8 years to get there. But at the end of the day, what we try to do is we have a goal in mind. That inshallah, one day when I graduate, I will enter a certain career, whatever the career may be. And then inshallah, I will start making a living for myself. But sometimes in that path, when we're working, say for example, there's a brother or sister who goes to med school. They go for 4 years of undergrad, and then let's say about 4 years of med school on top of that. They have all the plans sorted out. I'm not sure if Kitchener has a med school, but let's use London's example, for example. So if London, someone's been planning, they've been living their whole life there, they spent about 8 years going through undergrad and grad, and now the plan was that from after grad school or after med school, they're going to get into some sort of residency, which will be in their local town. They know their family was there, the center that they're used to going, the children that they grew up in madrasa, all there, the communities there, everything's perfect, everything is according to their own plan. And everything's going fine. But until the time comes when the match, I think the brothers and sisters who are in medicine could probably relate to this better, that when they try to match you with a resident school, you get a match, for example, in Ottawa, or in some other part of North America, or maybe let's say in some part of Europe, if that is an option. Sometimes your dreams shatter at that point. You spend so many years planning for something, and now all of a sudden, the results of the fruits of your efforts are in a different form. Some of us may lose hope in that point, so that's just a career hope, that we say, okay, you know what, things didn't work out, you'll do one of two things. You either give in and say, okay, I will accept the match, or I will accept the residency in whichever country I got it in, or city, and I'll move on. Or the second thing would be that you'll drop everything and say, okay, I quit. I'm going to change my career, but that's your choice. The idea here is that, that's one aspect of it. So that's the career choices we make. The other factors, for example, could be mental health. So mental health or social problems or economical problems or political problems or family problems just in general sometimes become a barrier between us and our success. We planned and planned and planned, but we forgot that He was the best of planners. So we had this plan, we had all the strategy, we had all the cards in the right place, we had all the courses that we wanted to take, we applied for the right places, but at the end of the day, we did not get what we planned for. And we sometimes at that point, instead of giving up on just the career or the school, we give up on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We say that, you know what, Allah, I tried, I reached a certain point, but you know what, it seems like we're not on the same page. And in that, we sometimes fall into the level of despair or yas. Okay? We start losing the hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's plans. In other cases, to take it into a more extreme stage, we sometimes commit sins. All of us commit sins. None of us sitting in this room are infallibles. We commit sins, and sometimes we think that our sins have become so great and so big, and because we're committing them so often, that there's no turnaround from this point on. I've reached a point in my life that I've been committing sins for 30, 40, 50, 60 years, and now I have no means to, for example, go for Hajj and sit on the day of Arafat, where I know we've, for example, forgiven sins on that day. Or for example, I don't have the means to go for the ziyarah of the Abu Abdullah alayhi salam and say that, okay, my sins might be forgiven that way. But I'm sitting at home, let's say in Waterloo, London, Toronto, and then I have that thought comes across my mind. That I've come to a point where I think there's no turnaround. Whether it's my social problems, whether it's my family problems, whether it's my societal problems, community problems, I feel that at this point onwards, there's no turnaround. That not turning around thought is basically what despair is. That thought that comes across your mind where you think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not grab you or has let go of you or will not save you from the trouble that you're in, that is despair. Our brothers and sisters, we as the followers of Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, we have a responsibility. We slip, we fall, we sometimes even hurt ourselves when we fall. But at the end of the day, when we fall, we don't just keep lying down. We move on. We stand up, we brush ourselves off, and we move forward. Irrespective of what age it may be. It might be the brother over here who might be in his early teen years or less. It might be my elderly brothers and sisters who might be older than my father or older than them. There is no stopping point. The only time that stopping point, that turnaround point is closed is the point when your ruh is taken away from you, when your soul is taken away from you. Up until the point when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides that your soul will be taken away from you, Allah has given you an open door. And that open door is what we call rahmah, the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whether that may be in the form of a rope that you're holding on to, if you're metaphorically speaking, whether it may be in the form of the wasila of majalis that we alhamdulillah have the opportunity to hear year over year, whether it be from the means of the books that many of our scholars have written that we get a chance to read a couple of pages from, it could be from any form, or the best of the books that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us, which is the Quran. It could come from many forms, many avenues. The idea here is that at the end of all of this, the mercy or the opportunity for forgiveness has never been closed. And that's why, when we, for example, try to understand the concept of despair, we understand that why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has called it the second greatest sin, according to many ulama. Why is it the second greatest sin? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling me and you, brothers and sisters, that I have given you opportunity over opportunity over opportunity to ask for forgiveness. But what you did instead, you took your time. No problem, take your time. Take your time. The minute you decide to ask for forgiveness, do it now. Don't wait till tomorrow, day after tomorrow, 3 weeks from now, next Muharram, next Arba'in. Sure, if you have some bigger plans to do istighfar, sure. But then at least your day to day, when you think that you've reached a point of sin that you want to ask Allah for an apology or ask Allah for forgiveness, that door remains open. And the minute you think the door is closed, Allah says that now you're doing despair. Now you are losing hope in Allah. Because Allah said the door is open and you're saying, no Allah, I think the door is closed. Now you're challenging Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this. He has guaranteed to you. He's made it firm in the Quran. And verse over verse over verse, inshallah we'll discuss some verses later on in the lecture. But He has given you the opportunity that the door of mercy or the door of rahmah is open to you. O my servants. But you are considering it closed. And when we consider it closed, that's when Allah says that now what you're doing is you're committing some serious business here. This is a serious sin. Sometimes we forget. One of the ways to look at this now is to understand the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We reflect the surroundings around us. Okay, so one way to understand this, one way to understand the Khaliq is to understand the makhluk. When we see the things around us, whether it be the stars, the universe, anything around us, whether we see one another as well, whether it be our spouses, our children, everything around us, around the room, anything around us in the surroundings is all a creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can create you, a child from you, siblings from you, of you, a father who got you to this world, a mother who brought you to this world, and everything around us in this universe, He has the capacity to do this and more. What makes us think that our sins will supersede that? Whether we be a sinner in a small level, or God forbid it be in the greater sins level, whether it be the sins of the greater sins which many of us are aware of. Whatever the size of the sin, don't forget, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is greater than that. And that's why when we understand this concept of rahmah, when we understand this concept of mercy, we need to realize that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never close His doors on us. The only time your door will close in that regard, perhaps, will probably be when you've passed away. But even then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that if you've done things in jariyah, sadaqah that keeps continuing, it will continue. It will remain jari. It won't stop. Even then Allah keeps that door open for you. So now, my brothers and sisters, one is to understand the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It could be 5 minutes of introspection, 5 minutes of reflection on the environment around us, when we look at things around us. As well as the second thing is when we reflect on personal experiences. We need to realize that none of us in this world have ever not gone through a trouble. We all have gone through some sort of trouble in our life. Some sort of dark days, dark weeks, dark months, some problems. But we also, sometimes when we get out of those dark days, sometimes we forget, that we had a dark day 3 years ago. Now things are going smooth, so we'll move on. Reflect on your personal experiences. I or someone else may not be able to help you in reflecting on your experiences, because all of us are aware of our own experiences, right? So in that, we reflect on our experiences, but realize that, in year so-and-so and week so-and-so, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when I was in trouble, someone took me out of that trouble. And today, let's say 3 years after that incident, I'm out of that trouble. I realize that who was it that took me out of that trouble? That means Allah did it once, yes? What makes us think that He cannot do it again? Irrespective of how much difficulty we're in. There's an example from the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. It's narrated by Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari. Actually, this is a different story. So there was a person at the time of Uhud. The story is very similar to a companion of Imam Hussein alayhi salam's in Karbala, which inshallah many of you will be able to reflect on right away. So at the Battle of Uhud, there was a Jew person. And at the time, this person, he was not aware that our Holy Prophet was a truthful and rightful prophet. So he was, I guess, a little bit uncertain of what was going on. He was on the enemy's side of the Prophet. So anyways, he went forward, he asked his clan that why don't we come for his help? Why don't we help him out? So the people responded that today's the day of Sabbath, today's the day of Saturday. So he said that, but that was the day of Nabi Musa alayhi salam. And this person in front of us is the Holy Prophet, and it's abrogated now. So, and he found that not to be acceptable to himself. Anyhow, so when he received a response from the crowd of the people that he was asking, he moved forward, he moved away from his tribe. He came to the Prophet, basically solo. Came to the Prophet and accepted Islam. He was an extremely wealthy person. So he entrusted his entire wealth to the Holy Prophet. To the point where it's said that, and many times anyways, he entrusted his wealth to the Holy Prophet. This was all within a span of perhaps maybe a few hours. He entrusted his entire wealth, he fought the battle, he got martyred. And it's said that, many times after that, a lot of the charity that the Prophet gave was actually from his wealth that was entrusted to him. How one opportunity that this person got, right on the day of, changed things. And we know, of course, the beautiful example of Hur ibn Yazid and alongside his son as well, from Karbala. That happened after the Battle of Uhud. But that's an example, right? Where sometimes we see the environment or see the atmosphere in a certain way, that we need to make a decision right away. The decision in hope that something better will happen. So if someone saw haqq in front of them, like in the case of this companion of the Prophet, he jumped to that opportunity. We know that in the army of approximately 30,000 or more, there were only a handful of people. Some riwayat say we usually focus on the two, Yazid and his son, Hur and his son, Hur ibn Yazid and his son, but there were other people as well, according to other narrations, that had also come to the side of Imam Hussein. But there were only a handful of people. Nevertheless, we need to understand that as the abd or the servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this world, first of all, is a world of tests and trials. It'll never stop. So there's no hidden secret about this. There's no, a complicated allegorical formula or an algorithm that we need to sit and figure out. We all know this. As long as we are alive, irrespective of which part of the world we live in, as peaceful as our society may be, there will be a challenge or another coming our way. So first of all, we need to realize that this is a world of tests and trials. Secondly, when we look at our conditions, and we sometimes become a little sorrowful or sad over them, we need to also look at the conditions of our other brothers and sisters who might be in a worse situation than us. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Inshallah, they can join us for the lecture as well. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So first, my brothers and sisters, the world is a test of trials, right? So we're going to be here as long as we're here, there's tests and trials. Secondly, anytime we are in a condition that we find ourselves to be in a difficult position in, we should look over to our other brothers and sisters in the world, in other parts of the world, or sometimes whether it could be in our own city, in our own centers, in our own houses, who might be in a position that is a lot more difficult than ours. moving on from that, we need to realize, and this is probably the most important point regarding this, when I was discussing the unlimited grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's so beautifully mentioned in the Holy Quran when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about tawbah, talks about istighfar, talks about returning to Him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not refer to us generally, or perhaps in any verse in the Quran, as Bani Adam when He's talking about forgiveness. He does not refer to us as Ya ayyuhan nas, or you the people. You know, for example, if I know someone personally, let's say if I know brother Ahmed, who's the son of Ali, for example. If I'm calling him from a distance, I will call him by his name. Ahmed, please come here. Or I can say, oh, the son of Ali, please come here. Or in the Arabic culture, for example, we use a kunya. If he has a son, we'll use his name. Or Abu Falah, please come here. Yes? We generally use the title like that. Usually it's something to do with the son or the person's own name, some title. Why would we do that? Why wouldn't we just say, like this is in an instance, for example, if someone is angry at someone, right? You're angry calling someone, you're a little bit mad at them for something they did. It could be an hour ago, a couple of days ago, and you're calling them from a distance. You're going to call them by their name and say, oh brother Falah, please come here. You're not going to turn and say, oh my dear, please come here. Generally speaking, you won't do that, right? The beauty of this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not mixed up words in the Quran. He has very categorically used the words when He's addressing us. Whether He's referring to us as mu'min, Muslim, nas, or the people, whether He's referring to us as the son of Adam, whatever it may be. He has very carefully selected those words. And in almost every verse, actually every single verse where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking us to come back to Him, Allah is referring to us as His servants, His abd. You know, if He was to say that, oh, you the sinner, that's a fact. Because He's saying, oh, you the sinner, please come back to me and do your istighfar. Istighfar, ask for your forgiveness, and come back to me, do your tawbah, do your repentance. Why is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using the word servant in this area? It's to draw a closer connection to us. Is to remind us that I am so close to you, that you are my servant, irrespective of what you did. Just come back to me. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that, not only is He saying that you the servant, come back to me, He does not say, oh you the servant, come back to me, the one who sinned. He uses the word asraf. Asraf could be translated as extravagant, extra, someone who went a couple inches over, couple of feet over, they spread their legs a bit too much than they should have, whatever it may be, someone who overstepped a little bit. When He's talking to us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, oh you the servant, or the one who's gone a bit extravagant, come back. You know, when we talk about, generally speaking, when brothers and sisters, when we talk about each other's incidents, let's say God forbid you know a brother or sister in Imam who's committed a certain heinous haram act, okay? And you know for sure with yaqeen that this person committed this act because you saw them commit with your own two eyes. When we're going to refer to them, you're not going to say, brother, you've gone a little bit extravagant, please come back. You might point out the sins to him. When you do Amr bil Ma'ruf or Nahi anil Munkar, you might say, brother, you know, I saw you do this and this, or sister, I saw you do so and so. So let's have a private conversation about this. Generally speaking, we won't use the word extravagant or asraf, that brother, you went outside and did asraf when you consume, for example, alcohol. We use in general linguistics, we use the word asraf when we talk about waste. When you eat more than, you throw away extra food, you throw away extra water, you use more than you need, and so on and so forth. The beauty of this is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks to us, He's using the word asraf in the Holy Quran. And that's when it's a point of reflection for all of us to take home today. That why is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses that word? Is it because He's distancing Himself away from us, or is He bringing Himself close to us? He's reminding you that, oh my servant, I am with you. You've gone a little bit extra, don't worry, just come back. You stepped of your foot out the door, come back. It's too cold outside, for example. Another thing is that we need to realize in this concept is that how do we eliminate this? So how do we cure this despair or this loss of hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? For example, a lot of times when in our day-to-day lives, we don't have despair, generally speaking. A lot of times despair comes into our life when we feel that Allah will not forgive us, or we think our sin is too big, or something we've done where we can't turn around anymore. Like a damage done where we think it's irreversible now. Usually it's in those sort of circumstances. And many times despair is when we commit sins, minor or major sins. One of the first things, of course, there's a whole discussion on how to do istighfar, what is tawbah, what does it mean to return, what's the difference between tawbah and istighfar. That's a whole long discussion. Inshallah, we won't get into that tonight. But just as a general note, today, if there's anything that I can suggest you guys to go home with, it will be the 3 R's that I'm going to leave with you today. Anytime we come up with any sort of problems in our life and we feel that we've wronged ourselves or we've disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do the 3 R's. And that's basically the formula to remain, perhaps protect yourself from despair. First of all the first R would be to realize. Realize your mistake and fault. You know, if you haven't even realized, how would we know what we've done is wrong, for example? Like if I'm committing an act, if I'm committing a sin, if I'm doing something which is out of the ordinary, if I'm not even realizing it, or if a brother or sister does not tap my shoulder and say that, you know, you've wronged a little bit, that realization point is not there, so I haven't even committed the first step yet. So the first step is to realize our mistake or our defects or our wrongdoings. The second step is to repent. Now in repentance, that's where and in summary, of course I'll explain this in a way, I'll pass as a passing point. There's istighfar and then there's tawbah. What is the difference between the two? Istighfar is when you ask Allah for forgiveness for a sin that you committed. So you realized, and in your repentance process, you are asking Allah for forgiveness. Oh Allah, forgive me for such and such act. Yes? The tawbah part is when we say astaghfirullah rabbi, when we say wa atubu ilay, that oh Allah, I'm returning back to you now. Returning back is essentially a step forward. So you say astaghfar, oh Allah, so basically if you want to look at this from a door analogy, you knock the door and you say that I'm here. That's the istighfar part, that you make yourself known. That I understand my sin and I'm here to apologize. Wa atubu ilay is when you step inside the door of mercy now. So when you step inside the door and now you say, Allah, that I'm back in, I'm trying to get back into your fold of your mercy. So in this case, for example, so the first would be to realize your issues, and second would be to repent. The third would be to refrain. Once you have realized your action, you've asked Allah, or you've repented, so you've asked Allah for forgiveness, and with the hope, inshallah, that you return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on that action, the third would be to refrain from it for good. You know, there's a beautiful saying by Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Regarding the opposite of this, so we know that we've covered the issue of despair when it comes to the false hope, when we become overconfident about the affairs that we're in. You know what? Allah, His mercy is unlimited. I'll continue doing what I want. Inshallah, one day I'll ask Allah for forgiveness. And many of us live with that sort of mentality. That, you know, I'll wait for that salat time, or that's fine. That's still setting goals to some extent. At least you're walking in that path. So inshallah, before the salat time, you ask for forgiveness. But there's people, or there's many of us, unfortunately, who will go with that, expect that sense of overconfidence in Allah's mercy, where we say that now we're not even fearful of His wrath. We forget that Allah will ever punish. We forget that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can be displeased by our actions. So when we talk about the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we talk about the fear of displeasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes? So one is this extreme, when we look at the despair part, where we lose hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the other aspect is when we look at when we lack that fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, lack the fear of displeasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Amir al-Mu'mineen is narrated to have said that do not be of those people who hope for the hereafter without working for it. So this is that category of people. So they want the best in the hereafter. They think that, many of us think that we have a big resume of items to present to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the Day of Judgment. So for that case, you know what, I'll stop. I don't need to move forward. I've done what I needed to. I've done enough, and we're good. This is where, you know, if you were to look at Amir al-Mu'mineen's line over here, or his quote, or his hadith over here, This is what it applies to people like us when we come into situations like this. When we encounter circumstances, when we get into situations where we feel overconfident about Allah's mercy. The right balance is to be in the middle of the two. Not to be at the extreme of not having any hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, at the same time not being too hopeful while overlooking our own defects. We need to recognize our own defects, at the same time understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will always be forgiving. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not say, I am sometimes forgiving. He calls himself the all-merciful, the all-forgiving. Yes? When we talk about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we call him the Ghaffar. Yes? Ghaffar is not in a singular present tense form, where we say that Allah is Ghafir here, but He can't be Ghafur over here. So this is where it's important for us to understand that when we talk about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His mercy and forgiveness, it is not limited to a time and a space or the circumstances or situations that we encounter. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
كما صلوات على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
So, inshallah, with these topics in mind, with these conversations, we can take back these notes that we understand that, as a mu'min, we need to have this balance in our heart, the balance on the two scales. That if we were to put ourselves on a scale, and on one side we were to put hope, and on the other side we were to put the fear of displeasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we need to be right in the middle. We cannot be extreme on this end and lowering ourselves from this side. And at the same time, we cannot be increasing ourselves from this side and lowering ourselves from this side. The best of these examples, of course, are found in the Ahlul Bayt alayhi wassalam. When we find that despite the tranquilities, despite the difficulties that they went through in their life, they kept their hopes high. They kept their tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala high. It did not reduce or lower because of the circumstances they were in. Otherwise, when Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam, the court was asked that, look what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did to you, when the Mal'un said that to her, she would not have said that I saw nothing but beauty. When she had seen so much calamities going through her life, so much torture, so much pain, words where people like myself cannot describe the circumstances that she had undergone from the day of Ashura till the day of when she returned back to Medina, when she via Kufa and Sham. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Can I request to dim the lights, please? Can I request to dim the lights, please? Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله السلام عليك وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك عليك مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر الأهد مني لزيارتكم. It is said that when Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam was poisoned by Walid Mal'un, he had left a few commandments or few advices for his son Bakr alayhi salam. He had instructed him to wash and shroud him, and alongside some things other than that were to be fulfilled for his will. Imam Bakr alayhi salam, who was also a witness on the plains of Karbala, this question goes out to Imam Bakr alayhi salam, that he was fortunate enough to get the opportunity to shroud and wash his father as per his instruction in a timely manner. My heart and my mind and my soul goes out to Imam al-Sajjad alayhi salam, when his father lay on the plains of Karbala for 3 days without a shroud and a burial. It is said that on the plains of Karbala, Imam Hussein alayhi salam looked around after his companions and his family members were martyred. He looked around with great sadness and sorrow at the haram of his family, the haram of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, where he saw that members of his family and companions had been slaughtered like sheep on the sand under the heat of the sun rays. He heard the women of his haram crying and weeping, lamenting over their martyred ones. Imam Mahdi alayhi salam in Ziyarat Nahya says, As-salamu ala mazloom bila nasir. Peace be upon you, the oppressed one who was martyred without a helper, or the oppressed one without a helper. So it is said when he called out, when Imam Hussein in that sorrow and grief, he looked around and then he called out if there was anyone to help. Some narrations say that the help was to protect the women of his household, the women and the children of his household. He looked around and Imam al-Sajjad alayhi salam heard this. He left his bed, he leaned on a stick because he was ill at the time. He was struck with severe illness. When Imam Hussein alayhi salam saw this, he asked Sayyida Kulthum, O Sayyida, Kulthum, hold back my son, otherwise the earth will be void of the Al of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. There's another line where Imam Mahdi alayhi salam says in Zayat Nahya, As-salamu ala As-salamu ala al-hur fil wara. Peace be upon the one who was slaughtered in public. Says they rushed to engage in combat. They descended swiftly upon you, showering you with arrows and stones. Showering you with arrows and stones, and moving towards you with upraising hands. Neither they respected your right, nor were they mindful, for slaying you and your companions and plundering your belongings. Is that why Imam Mahdi reported himself that we were in the front line of the strength of battle and during afflictions. Indeed, the angels of the heavens were astonished by your patience. The enemy then surrounded you from all the sides, weakened you by inflicting wounds, prevented you from taking any repose, and you had no helper remaining. You were brave yet patient, defending your women and children until they caused you to fall from your horse. You fell to the ground, wounded. Horses trampled you with their hooves. Oppressing raised their swords against you. The sweat of death appeared on your forehead, and you continually clenched and unclenched your hands, secretly gazing upon your caravan and tents, while trapped by yourself away from your children and family. At that time your horse galloped towards your camp, neighing and crying. When the women saw your horse distraught and observed your sad and contorted, they came from the tents, disheveling their, striking their now unveiled cheeks, calling you by lamenting and wailing, being humiliated after being honored, asking to where you lay wounded. It is said that when the ladies of revelation from the household were taken to Kufa as prisoners, the Umayyad brewed stamp plates and raised its banners to show their victory over the master of the youth of paradise. One of the persons there described that when he was waiting for the arrival of the captives of the hands, 40 camels came carrying women and children. Imam al-Sajjad alayhi salam from among them came riding a camel without a saddle, and he was weeping with both sides of his neck bleeding, while he's still crying, with his head, and my head came to the Sajjad alayhi salam's head was lowered in shame. And shame of the attention that his mala'un were given to the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. May Allah, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raise us with Muhammad and Ali Muhammad. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to do the ziyarah of Imam Sajjad alayhi salam in Jannat al-Baqi. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the opportunity to see that day when Jannat al-Baqi is raised like Karbala and Najaf, with a shrine and a dome over the qabr or the dhari of our Aimma alayhi salam who are buried there. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala show us the day where we witness the grave of Sayyida Zahra alayhi salam and are aware of exactly where we should be going for her ziyarah, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lower the burdens and decrease the difficulties, eliminate the difficulties of our brothers and sisters in Bahrain, in Yemen, in Pakistan, in Africa, and the other parts of the Muslim world, especially the Shia of Ali, wherever they are, wherever they're incarcerated, wherever they're being tortured. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bihaqqi Imam Sajjad alayhi salam free the captives and help them in attaining a more pleasurable life as the Imam alayhi salam waits for them inshallah on the day of judgment to assist them in Jannah inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive the sins of all the marhumeen who are present here, especially the organizers of this majalis in Muharram. With that, we ask you to recite the Surah Al-Mubarak Al-Fatiha with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.
Ya Hussein, 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 Ya Hussein. It comes in a tradition where a companion had come to the fourth Imam and he had mentioned that to the Imam, he had said to the Imam that, Imam, when will you cry till, O Imam? And the Imam mentioned to him that, O Minhal, O my companion, Yaqub had cried on Yusuf that his eyes had turned white. He was not able to see. I had 18 Yusuf who were sacrificed in the plains of Karbala. And the companion mentioned that, O Imam, but isn't mirath isn't shahada your mirath? He said, indeed it is our mirath, but what about the women of the household of the Prophet? Is that also our mirath? Ya ayyuhal madhloom, Ya ayyuhal madhloom, Naro Mala, Naro Mala, Naro Mala, Naro Mala. Min haal ne ek din aake kaha, E Mala mere Zainul Aba, Gham zyada kaha guzre tum par. दिल थाम लिया खून रोने लगे, खून रोते हुए बस इतना कहा, अशाम 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 अशाम
منحال تڑپ کر کہنے لگا رونے کا سبب مولا ہے کیا میراث شہادت آپ کی ہے مولا نے کہا لا ریب مگر اف تو نے نہیں انصاف کیا بے شک میراث شہادت ہے یہ آل نبی کی فطرت ہے سر بے پردہ ماں بہنوں کا کہ یہ بھی میری میراث تھی کیا اشام 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 منحال میں کیسے زندہ ہوں پل پل جیتا ہوں مرتا ہوں ان آنکھوں نے کو کچھ دیکھا ایک یہ بھی میری میراث تھی کیا اشام 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 آغاز ہے شام غریبہ سے خون ٹپ کا چشم گریا سے بہنوں کا کھلا سر سامنے تھا ایک یہ بھی میری میراث تھی کیا اشام 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 کیسے بھولوں اس منظر کو نیزے پہ پھوپھی کی چادر کو ساحل سے جو غازی نے دیکھا ایک یہ بھی میری میراث تھی کیا اشام 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 ناموس پیمبر بے چادر اور سر پہ برستے تھے پتھر تر خون میں تھا سب کا چہرہ تھا ایک یہ بھی میری میراث تھی کیا اشام 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 نہ غم پاکو زنجیر کا تھا غم پھپھیوں کا ہمشیر کا تھا بازار کے غم نے مار دیا ایک یہ بھی میری میراث تھی کیا اشام 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 اللہ میرے یہ حد ستم پہرو تھے کھڑے دربار میں ہم اور تخت پہ قاتل بیٹھا تھا ایک یہ بھی میری میراث تھی کیا اشام اشام ایک شام کا ایک زندان کا غم معصوم سی ننھی جان کا غم جو ہو نہ سکی مر کے بھی رہا ایک یہ بھی میری میراث تھی کیا اشام 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 مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین مولا حق امام یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین وہ عابد بیمار تھا وہ عابد بیمار تھا چلنے سے جو لاچار تھا चलने से जो लाचार था और शाम का बाजार था और मुस्तफ़ा की बेटियां मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन शबीर की वो लाडली शबीर की वो लाडली सीने पे जो शाह के पली सीने पे जो शाह के पली और जिसकी अबारन में जली मुँह पर तमाचों के निशान मौला हक माँ या हसन या हुसैन मौला हक माँ या हसन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन मोहम्मद व मोहम्मद सलवात متوجه زيارة الوارثة.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين، السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى ورحمة الله وبركاته. زيارة الوارث. السلام عليك يا وارث آدم صفوة الله، السلام عليك يا وارث نوح نبي الله، السلام عليك يا وارث إبراهيم خليل الله، السلام عليك يا وارث موسى كليم الله، السلام عليك يا وارث عيسى روح الله، السلام عليك يا وارث محمد حبيب الله، السلام عليك يا وارث أمير المؤمنين ولي الله، السلام عليك يا ابن محمد المصطفى، السلام عليك يا ابن علي المرتضى، السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء، السلام عليك يا ابن خديجة الكبرى، السلام عليك يا ثار الله وابن ثاره والوتر الموتور، أشهد أنك قد أقمت الصلاة وآتيت الزكاة وأمرت بالمعروف ونهيت عن المنكر وأطعت الله ورسوله حتى أتاك اليقين، فلعن الله أمة قتلتك ولعن الله أمة ظلمتك ولعن الله أمة سمعت بذلك فرضيت به. يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله، أشهد أنك كنت نورا في الأصلاب الشامخة والأرحام المطهرة، لم تنجسك الجاهلية بأنجاسها ولم تلبسك من مدلهمات ثيابها، وأشهد أنك من دعائم الدين وأركان المؤمنين، وأشهد أنك الإمام البر التقي الرضي الزكي الهادي المهدي، وأشهد أن الأئمة من ولدك كلمة التقوى وأعلام الهدى والعروة الوثقى والحجة على أهل الدنيا، وأشهد الله وملائكته وأنبياءه ورسله أني بكم مؤمن وبإيابكم موقن، بشرائع ديني وخواتيم عملي، وقلبي لقلبكم سلم وأمري لأمركم متبع، صلوات الله عليكم وعلى أرواحكم وعلى أجسادكم وعلى أجسامكم وعلى شاهدكم وعلى غائبكم وعلى ظاهركم وعلى باطنكم. زيارة علي الأكبر. السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله، السلام عليك يا ابن نبي الله، السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا ابن الحسين الشهيد، السلام عليك أيها الشهيد، السلام عليك أيها المظلوم وابن المظلوم. لعن الله أمة قتلتك، ولعن الله أمة ظلمتك، ولعن الله أمة سمعت بذلك فرضيت به. زيارة of all the martyrs. السلام عليكم يا أولياء الله وأحباءه، السلام عليكم يا أصفياء الله وأوداءه، السلام عليكم يا أنصار دين الله، السلام عليكم يا أنصار رسول الله، السلام عليكم يا أنصار أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليكم يا أنصار فاطمة سيدة نساء العالمين، السلام عليكم يا أنصار أبي محمد الحسن بن علي الولي الزكي الناصح، السلام عليكم يا أنصار أبي عبد الله بأبي أنتم وأمي، طبتم وطابت الأرض التي فيها دفنتم وفزتم فوزا عظيما، فيا ليتني كنت معكم فأفوز معكم. زيارة العباس. السلام عليك يا أبا الفضل العباس ابن أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا ابن سيد الوصيين، السلام عليك يا ابن أول القوم إسلاما وأقدمهم إيمانا وأقومهم بدين الله وأحوطهم على الإسلام. أشهد لقد نصحت لله ولرسوله ولأخيك، فنعم الأخ المواسي. فلعن الله أمة قتلتك، ولعن الله أمة ظلمتك، ولعن الله أمة استحلت منك المحارم وانتهكت حرمة الإسلام. فنعم الصابر المجاهد المحامي الناصر والأخ الدافع عن أخيه، المجيب إلى طاعة ربه، الراغب فيما زهد فيه غيره من الثواب الجزيل والثناء الجميل. وألحقك الله بدرجة آبائك في جنات النعيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليكم يا أئمة الهدى، علي زين العابدين ومحمد الباقر وجعفر الصادق وموسى الكاظم وعلي الرضا ومحمد التقي وعلي النقي والحسن العسكري ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا سيدنا ومولانا يا صاحب العصر والزمان. السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. السلام عليك يا إمامنا وإمام الإنس والجان. عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك ودهورك ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا.
Brothers and sisters, just make a note, inshallah, that tomorrow Salatul Jummah will take place over here at 1:10 p.m. inshallah, led by Sheikh Shafiq Huda. And with this, we also thank our respected Sheikh, our Sayyid, who had visited us from London to give this beautiful talk. Inshallah, may Allah elevate his reward, increase his rewards abundantly, inshallah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.